We already went through it a little bit, just played a game. They nerfed the Wingman slightly, decreased the Skull Piercer effect, and made the hipfire not as accurate. But we're going to go through the entire post and see what's new. I want to set expectations that there will be lots of things we can't talk about yet. We won't be confirming or revealing any future content or features in the questions as well. They are still, we don't know about the Season 1 Battle Pass specifically yet. They said we're fired up for it. It's prime time. There's a lot of moving parts, coordinations to the big announcement and launches. So they're still figuring out. We don't know the timing. We don't know all of that yet. Of course, over the next week, we'll be talking about a few hot topics and kicking off things today with a patch that is live on all platforms with some fixes. Our first tweaks to the meta, and we'll be previewing of how we're addressing the legend balance with the hitboxes, which has been a hotly contested one for us. How do we think about live balance at Respawn? TLDR, we make less frequent, better tested, higher impact balance changes in order to minimize the impacts of your time spent mastering the game, which I like. This is something that we saw games like Fortnite changes every week. That's fine. I think they have a pretty good pacing with theirs. But like a game like Realm, literally every single week, they changed the game to the point where we were just like, you had to remaster the game. I like that they're taking their time more with it. Core philosophy of our development process for Apex is to listen to player feedback, parse through all the data we get from the game, try things, and then play test it. Goal is to ship a polished, closer to the mark updates than if we got things out rapidly and iterated in a live environment. So I do like that. You shouldn't have to read our patch notes every few days. Just keep up with how characters and weapons now work. This is the big change here. Overall, we feel the current weapons present solid options for a variety of gameplay styles. We found that the Skull Piercer Wingman has been on the stronger end. Yes, it has been. But it's designed to be a weapon with higher skill ceiling. Our adjustments are attempting to move it more into the hand cannon space and away from the full auto deagle. We're also adjusting the rate of fire on the Peacekeeper with the shotgun bolt attachment, so players will have a larger window of vulnerability if they miss their shot. This is what I like. They said right here, this is designed to be a more powerful weapon with a higher skill ceiling. If you can hit your shots, the gun will shred. That's still their intention with the gun. This is a very minor nerf to it. The first thing that they changed was that the rate of fire was reduced from 3.1 to 2.6 shots per second. So it's still almost 3 shots in 1 second. It's literally a half a second change, which is very minor. In testing, when we were shooting it, it is slightly less, but from what I was playing, it felt very similar. The Skull Piercer headshot damage multiplier reduced from 2.5 to 2.25. Here, I'll make this bigger for you guys too so you can see it. This is basically meaning so it's 25% less damage at the high end for the Skull Piercer multiplier. That's fine. It's still going to put out some good damage for the headshot. And this is, I think, probably the biggest nerf, although it also didn't seem like it was that big of a nerf. But I think this is how a lot of people use it and abuse it right now, which is increasing the base hipfire spread and decreasing the rate at which hipfire spread decays. Meaning, when you hipfire with this gun, it is almost perfectly accurate. It goes right in the middle of where your crosshairs are. So you can use this as a shotgun, and it blooms out and then it tightens back in. And when it tightens back in, that is what they slowed down so it doesn't tighten as quickly. Because you could basically shoot, it blooms out and then it tightens, and you could shoot again with the exact same perfect accuracy, even from hipfire. It's not 100% perfect, but it's really accurate at the middle of it. Versus a gun like the G2 or the G7 Scout or something, that thing is not accurate from hipfire. Even if you wait for it to close and center in, it'll kind of go towards the middle, but it'll veer off to the sides. The Wingman is very accurate, so they've nerfed that, decreasing the fire rate of which you can just basically treat it like a shotgun. So that's where if you do get in a close range fight with somebody, they're going to have to be shooting slower. The gun doesn't even shoot as fast in general, even if they do ADS fast fire it. And that's why I think you're going to see, and that's what I saw from at least the last game that I just played, the LMG becomes an insane factor of just holding left click close range on everybody and you destroy. Peacekeeper, they changed it so the shotgun bolt, it's only that the shotgun bolt decreased the mitigation of the rechambering the next round. So it's still going to be faster. Instead of 25% at the high end, it'll be 16% faster. That's still pretty quick. I don't think that's that big of a change. I think it's still going to be good. The Wingman Peacekeeper, this reduction, though, the thing that made this so powerful is you would have all 3 players on one team all using a wingman, all focus firing. So it really is going to depend on how much that's actually been decreased, because if they only have like 3 of them on the entire map, then nobody's going to have all 3 of them at one time. I don't think it's going to be that dramatic, but we'll see. We'll see how it factors in. Increasing the availability of energy weapons as well as ammo in all zones too. Now that Devotion and Havoc will be a little bit more useful. So few people are picking up those guns and energy ammo right now. This will hopefully make them more powerful. Why no P2020 or Mozambique buffs? I liked this. They said, we love y'all's Beaks memes, so we're hesitant to lose that. It's great. They're just going to not nerf it because of all the memes. I love it. Additional patch... No, I'm just kidding. The power curve. So they said they want to have a power curve in the game where the least powerful guns... There are less powerful guns. Like, you're going to find guns that are not good, and you got to make an insane play with it or go upgrade. Not all the guns are going to all be completely equal. I think that's kind of fun, personally. Because sometimes you get a pistol, it's just like in PUBG or something. You get a pistol, and it's like, you can then own with it. If you end up doing well, you feel that much even better because it's a bad gun. And they're also more common, too, as part of it. Fix some script errors. So there was some stuff that was causing crashes in the game. You could read that if you want. Addressing legend balance and hitbox. This was the other super hot topic. TLDR, our goal is to be able to have characters with different rig sizes, hitboxes, and ability kits, and still have each character be roughly equal in power with win rate and viability and pick. This is something that I'm happy that they're sticking with, because a lot of people are saying, like, oh, Gibraltar's hitbox is too big. I like that there's different size characters and they have varying power. I think that he's still too weak. I think everybody was correct in that Gibraltar, Caustic, those guys are too big they don't have enough really carrying them. I think Caustic was actually doing pretty good. I was using him yesterday. I actually was really liking him. But they made a few tweaks here. So overall, we want to try and increase the power level of large rig characters before we consider large nerfs to everyone else. So they're going to make them more powerful rather than nerf. I love that. Basically making it so you want to use the bigger character that's going to get owned? All right, well, we're going to make you more powerful too with their abilities. But will they be? I don't know. But let's see. Let's see what the actual changes are. We made some small adjustments. We're hopeful that increases in power of large rigs and is healthier than nerfing everyone else. So it doesn't seem like they want to go in the direction of increasing health pool for everybody as well. We'll see how that goes. Major balance changes, though. Hitbox size reduction and optimization for Caustic, Pathfinder, and Gibraltar. We're better sizing the hitboxes to the character's gear and model, so they're going to tighten it up. Specifically for Pathfinder, that one was pretty thick. Although I think he was mostly that thick because of his legendary skins. Those are a little bit thicker. I'm curious how they're going to balance that, because the legendary skins are for sure thicker than the regular ones. Does that mean that the legendary skins are going to have the thin hitbox and they're not actually going to, or what's that mean? I don't know. We'll have to see. But they tightened it up, so it'll be a little bit tighter on the actual character model, so maybe they reduced it slightly. My guess is it's still going to be pretty big. Since these adjustments have a major impact on the game, we want to make sure there aren't any major bugs, so we didn't want to rush them out. If these adjustments prove to be insufficient, we'll consider doing additional adjustments during the first season. So Caustic reduced the cooldown to 25 seconds from 30 seconds for the traps. They made increased radius and proximity radius by about 10% for the traps. That's pretty powerful. Removed a 1-second delay on smoke, dealing damage to players as well. That's really powerful as well. Because if the second you get hit by, it's not that the traps do a lot of damage. It's that if you hit a trap, it slows you, blocks your vision, and shows you to Caustic where you are. That's a lot of intel. That's a pretty good buff for him. Pathfinder's insider knowledge increased the number of beacons in the world from 12 to 12 from 10. Okay, that's pretty weak sauce to me. Lifeline care package removed slight chance that level 4 armor and helmets will drop. That's really a very weak nerf. That's basically nothing. The level 4 armor is basically useless. When you execute somebody, it regens your shield. Most of the time, that really doesn't factor in that much. Maybe you get a couple uses, but it's not that crazy. The helmet is a little bit more, because if you got a tier 4 helmet, that increases or reduces the cooldown charge for your ultimate and your abilities. So getting that increased rate is actually pretty valuable. But still, you barely ever got it anyways. And now they just removed this slight chance that you had. They removed that. Wraith, Into the Void, cooldown increase from 20 seconds to 25. So slight nerf to Wraith. It's 5 seconds. That's kind of considerable. And then Bangalore. This is a nerf for Bangalore. Reduced movement speed bonus to 30% from 40. She had a 40% movement speed increase. Good Lord. Down to 30%. So that's still going to be pretty powerful. She was very powerful with that, but that's pretty good. Very minor tweaks to this, which is good. I would rather them do minor tweaks, see how it impacts, like the Wingman nerf, very minor, and then see how it actually impacts the game before going any deeper into it. I like it. So that's the first update for Apex Legends. It says balance update live on all platforms. So maybe we see a meta shift.